Welcome to another episode from the Veterinary Research Channel. Today we delve into a significant area of feline health, specifically focusing on hyperthyroidism, a common hormonal disorder affecting middle-aged to older cats. This condition arises from an overproduction of thyroid hormones due to abnormal thyroid tissue function, leading to a cascade of clinical signs that can considerably impact a cat's well-being. These signs can manifest in various ways, including unexplained weight loss despite an increased appetite, vomiting, hyperactivity, excessive thirst and urination, diarrhea, increased susceptibility to respiratory issues, and changes in the quality of their coat. The presence of these clinical signs naturally raises concerns about the quality of life for cats suffering from hyperthyroidism. Beyond the direct effects of the disease, the process of treatment and ongoing monitoring can also place a significant burden on the owners and act as a source of stress for their feline companions. Given that hyperthyroidism is a progressive and potentially life-threatening condition, therapeutic intervention becomes crucial to alleviate these clinical signs and mitigate the harmful effects of excessive thyroid hormones on the body, particularly the cardiovascular system. Currently, veterinarians have several treatment options at their disposal, including medication with antithyroid drugs, a diet low in iodine, radioiodine therapy, and surgical removal of the thyroid gland. It's worth noting that radioiodine therapy and surgery are often considered curative approaches. Traditionally, the success of treatment has been primarily evaluated by measuring the levels of total thyroxine, a key thyroid hormone, in the cat's blood. However, relying solely on this measurement might not always provide a complete picture of how well the disease is being managed. Factors such as medication side effects, the ease of administering treatment, or the possibility of overtreating and causing the opposite problem, hypothyroidism, can also influence the overall outcome. Recognizing these limitations, there's a growing understanding in veterinary medicine of the importance of incorporating tools that assess health-related quality of life, often abbreviated as HRQoL. In human medicine, questionnaires designed to evaluate quality of life in individuals with various diseases, including hyperthyroidism, are well established and play a vital role in understanding treatment success and guiding patient care. While the veterinary field has seen the development of validated questionnaires to assess general well-being in cats and specific HRQoL, for conditions like diabetes, chronic kidney disease, and skin disorders, a similar tool specifically for cats with hyperthyroidism has been lacking. Therefore, a recent study set out with the primary objective of developing and validating a new instrument, which the researchers named the HyperthyroidismQoL-cat questionnaire. The aim was to create a reliable way to measure and quantify how hyperthyroidism, as perceived by the cat's owner, impacts the health-related quality of life of their affected cats, as well as the impact on the owner's daily life. This research underscores the growing appreciation for the multifaceted nature of disease management, extending beyond mere physiological measurements to encompass the overall well-being of both the animal and the caregiver. Moving now to the findings of this important study, the researchers successfully developed and refined a comprehensive questionnaire. The initial stage involved a thorough review of existing literature and discussions with a group of veterinarians with expertise in both general practice and specialist referral centers. This process helped to identify key areas relevant to the health-related quality of life of cats with hyperthyroidism and the experiences of their owners. The preliminary questionnaire consisted of 28 questions, each exploring a different aspect of the cat's health and the owner's life potentially affected by the cat's condition. For each question, owners were asked to consider two sub-questions. First, how often the particular item applied to their cat or their situation, and second, how strongly that item affected their or their cat's quality of life. The questionnaire underwent a rigorous process of refinement based on the responses collected from a large group of cat owners. 229 owners of cats diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, and 322 owners of cats without this condition. Statistical analyses were performed to identify which questions effectively differentiated between the two groups of cats. This led to the retention of 25 out of the initial 28 questions in the final version of the HyperthyroidismQoL-cat tool. A crucial aspect of developing such a tool is ensuring its reliability and validity. The researchers assessed the internal consistency of the final questionnaire, which refers to how well the different questions measure the same underlying concept, in this case, health-related quality of life. The questionnaire demonstrated excellent internal consistency, indicating that the retained questions worked well together to assess HRQoL. The tool generates a total score ranging from 0 to 382, with lower scores indicating a better quality of life. The study revealed a significant difference in the median HRQoL scores between the two groups of cats. Cats with hyperthyroidism had a significantly higher median score compared to cats without the condition, indicating a poorer health-related quality of life in the hyperthyroid group. This finding strongly suggests that hyperthyroidism does indeed negatively impact the well-being of affected cats, as perceived by their owners. Furthermore, the researchers examined the reliability of owner completion of the questionnaire. They assessed both intra-rater reliability, which is the consistency of scores when the same owner completes the questionnaire for the same cat at 2 different time points, and inter-rater reliability, which is the agreement between scores when 2 different owners complete the questionnaire for the same cat at the same time. The results showed very good intra-rater reliability and excellent inter-rater reliability, providing confidence in the consistency and agreement of owner responses. To evaluate the validity of the tool, the researchers compared the HRQoL scores generated by the questionnaire with the owner's overall assessment of their cat's quality of life, using a single, general question. A strong positive correlation was found between the two, suggesting that the HyperthyroidismQoL-cat tool effectively reflects the owner's perceptions of their hyperthyroid cat's overall well-being. Finally, the study explored the influence of other health conditions, known as comorbidities, on the HRQoL scores. They found that the presence of comorbidities was more common in the hyperthyroid cat group. Interestingly, cats in both the hyperthyroid and non-hyperthyroid groups with coexisting conditions tended to have higher, indicating poorer, HRQoL scores compared to those without other reported illnesses. When specifically looking at conditions with clinical signs similar to hyperthyroidism, such as diabetes mellitus and chronic kidney disease, the study did not find a significant difference in HRQoL scores between hyperthyroid cats and non-hyperthyroid cats suffering from either of these conditions alone. This could potentially be due to the relatively small number of cats in those specific subgroups, limiting the statistical power of that particular analysis. Turning our attention to the implications of these findings in the discussion section, this study provides a validated and reliable tool for assessing the health-related quality of life in cats with hyperthyroidism from the perspective of their owners. The fact that the final questionnaire demonstrated excellent internal consistency and good reliability in terms of both the same owner at different times and different owners of the same cat underscores its potential for practical use. The strong correlation with the owner's overall perception of their cat's quality of life further supports the validity of the HyperthyroidismQoL-cat tool. The study's finding that cats with hyperthyroidism had significantly poorer HRQoL compared to non-hyperthyroid cats reinforces the understanding that this endocrine disorder has a substantial negative impact on the lives of affected animals. Interestingly, some of the clinical signs commonly associated with hyperthyroidism, such as diarrhea and changes in affection, were among the items with the lowest mean scores on the questionnaire, while owner-related concerns such as worries about side effects and the emotional burden of care scored higher. This might suggest that the questionnaire places a considerable emphasis on the owner's perspective, which, while not directly reflecting the cat's physical state, is undeniably important as the owner's well-being and experiences heavily influence treatment decisions and the overall care provided. The researchers point out that owner-related factors have also been shown to be significant in HRQoL assessments for other feline conditions, such as diabetes. The study did not find significant differences in HRQoL scores based on the age of the cats or the time since diagnosis, suggesting that the impact of hyperthyroidism on quality of life, as measured by this tool, is somewhat consistent across different stages and ages of affected cats. The observation that a large proportion of hyperthyroid cats also suffered from other diseases is not surprising, given that hyperthyroidism typically affects older cats. The finding that the presence of comorbidities tended to worsen the HRQoL scores in both groups highlights the complex interplay of multiple health conditions on overall well-being. The lack of a significant difference in HRQoL scores when comparing hyperthyroid cats to non-hyperthyroid cats with diabetes or chronic kidney disease, conditions with some overlapping clinical signs, warrants further investigation with larger sample sizes to determine the tool's specificity. The researchers acknowledge that it can be challenging to create highly disease-specific HRQoL tools in cats due to the limited range of clinical signs they exhibit across various conditions. It was also unexpected that the study did not find a statistically significant effect of different treatment modalities for hyperthyroidism on HRQoL scores. The researchers had anticipated that cats requiring daily medication might have poorer quality of life compared to those treated with potentially curative options like radioiodine therapy or surgery. However, they note that the long-term outcome of these curative treatments in the study population was not assessed, and some cats might have remained hyperthyroid or become hypothyroid, potentially affecting their quality of life. Additionally, in some cases, the time elapsed between treatment and questionnaire completion might not have been sufficient for the treatment to fully take effect. The relatively small number of cats in the curative treatment groups also limited the statistical power to detect potential differences. Interestingly, the researchers point out that some studies in human medicine have also reported similar findings of no significant difference in quality of life between different hyperthyroidism treatment approaches. The authors emphasize the practicality of the HyperthyroidismQoL-cat tool for use in veterinary practice. The calculations are straightforward and can be easily performed using computer programs or even manually. Owners can complete the questionnaire at their convenience, potentially providing valuable insights into the cat's well-being that might not be captured during routine clinical examinations. The inclusion of 2 answer sets for each question, assessing both the frequency and the impact of each item, allows for a more nuanced and individualized assessment. The researchers acknowledge some limitations of their study, inherent to questionnaire-based research. These include the potential for recall bias, where owners might not accurately remember past events or experiences, and demand characteristics, where owners might unintentionally provide answers that align with their preconceived notions about their cat's quality of life. The majority of respondents were recruited online, which could introduce a sampling bias, potentially underrepresenting owners with limited internet access or those less engaged with online pet-related communities. There might also be a bias towards owners who are more attentive to their cat's condition and behaviors. Furthermore, the tool's sensitivity might be influenced by the presence of other concurrent diseases, and the study did not collect information on the level of control of hyperthyroidism at the time of questionnaire completion. Despite these limitations, this study represents a significant step forward in the assessment of feline hyperthyroidism. The newly developed and validated HyperthyroidismQoL-cat questionnaire provides a valuable tool for veterinarians to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the impact of this common endocrine disorder on the lives of their feline patients and their owners. Integrating such quality-of-life assessments alongside traditional clinical parameters can facilitate a more holistic approach to disease management and ultimately contribute to better outcomes for cats with hyperthyroidism. Thank you for listening to the Veterinary Research Channel. A link for the reference paper is in the video description. Remember to test your knowledge by answering the questions in the description, and as always, keep those minds inspired, hearts light, and tails wagging.